Hi friends, it's Peter for Genderqueer Chat. I am not feeling so great today because I'm really tired. I just haven't been sleeping well, and last night I didn't get very much sleep, and I've had a very exhausting day so far. So I'm gonna try and, keep it together for this video. This week we are talking about, well, we're supposed to bring on a friend or, relative or what have you, to have a conversation with them about how they feel about you being genderqueer and, all that stuff. But I didn't really know who to bring on. So it's just me. This topic kind of makes me wish I was still in England, because when I was there were a lot of people. There are a lot of people I could think of who are still in England who I could have asked, but they're not here in DC. So I'm not sure exactly what to talk about. I feel like I talk a lot with people about being trans. I don't feel like I talk as much with people about being genderqueer. I mean, just in general, all the stories that I can think of have to do with having conversations with people about my being trans and not genderqueer, so maybe I'll just tell some of those stories anyway. Let's see, I guess one thing that has been kind of recent, I guess, is since I've been, at home in the DC area where all my relatives live, I've been seeing a lot of them lately, and I've been really impressed by how they're all being so cool about, my transition. They're really making an effort to call me Peter and he, and it's, we can talk about it in a way that's very relaxed and laid back, and that's all very cool. And one of the people who've impressed me the most is my grandma, because I wasn't really sure how she was going to respond to hearing about my transition, but she's just been so supportive, and she always calls me Peter. More consistently than almost anyone, which is just amazing because she's, older. And this is, obviously something she's never really dealt with before. She hasn't had people in her life, who have been trans and transitioning. So that's been awesome. And there was a big party recently for my uncle who just got married, my uncle and his new wife, and so I was talking to my grandma at this event, and also my grandma invited like one of her really good friends who I've known like my whole life, and both of them were calling me Peter and being just super nice to me, and telling me I looked good, and so I was trying to tell my grandma like how much I appreciated the effort she was making, and she said something like, "Oh, we don't care, we just love you," and it's just been really awesome. So I guess the reason that I'm telling this story is because I don't know, I guess it's just you never know. How people are going to react, and people surprise you sometimes. I guess there's one conversation that I can think of having with somebody about being genderqueer. I had this friend back in England who I used to talk to about gender stuff a lot, and he was just a straight guy, a cisgender straight guy, and I think he was just interested. He was just curious. So we used to talk about it a lot, and we had some pretty interesting discussions, which I can't really remember too well now because it was months and months ago. But I remember at one point, and I can't remember the context of this, like what we were talking about. I just remember him saying that the fact that I was genderqueer was one of his favorite things about me, which just struck me as a very odd thing to say. And I wasn't sure how I felt about that, whether that was really like it just seemed really weird. So that's really the only conversation I can think of at this moment about talking to people about being genderqueer. I guess I also talked to my cousin about it a little recently. She just said something about how it must be harder. Basically, our topic for last week. She was thinking about it, and she thought it must be harder to be more in the middle of the gender binary instead of on one side or the other. I had another story. What was it? Oh, I had this other friend in England who I talked to a little bit about being trans, but not until we'd been friends for a while, and for a long time I didn't even know that he knew. We were in this play together, and it was West Side Story, and I was one of the Jets, one of the gang members, and so there were a lot of rehearsals that were like just us guys, and I was the only female-bodied person who was there, and just on stage, the way we related to each other was like as guys, and I just felt really good about the way that they sort of accepted me as one of them, and I told him about that right before leaving England, how much that meant to me, that it was the first time I had been in a play in a boy's part, and that particular experience of being like one of the guys and having the guys just totally accept me like that just was really special. And I'm glad that I told him that, because that really affected him, hearing that. I think that was good for him to hear how much that meant to me. He seemed really touched, so that was a nice conversation. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say. Generally, I've been very, very lucky in that the people that I've come out to have been supportive. I can't think of anybody really who was not supportive in terms of friends, family. I guess there have been people in my life who maybe wouldn't have been as supportive, but I'm not close to them, or just didn't really ever talk to them about it, so it wasn't an issue. But I've had really positive experiences. Another thing that impressed me was when I told my old boss, who's, she's a little bit conservative, she's Republican, and I wasn't sure how she was going to react to hearing about my transition, but she said, she also just was very, very supportive, and she said she thought it was really courageous that I was going through with the transition, and that also really impressed me so much. Again, because I just wasn't expecting that kind of response. But yeah, I think this is probably long enough. So I hope you're all having a good weekend, and have a nice week next week, and I'll see you soon.